When was the last time your mind was truly quiet? Not distracted, not entertained, not scrolling, not sleeping. Quiet. If you can't remember, you already know why discipline feels impossible for you. Before we go any further, do this now. Hit subscribe, tap like, and in the comments, write one sentence answering this question. What thought distracts me the most when I try to stay disciplined? Not for the algorithm, for awareness. Because once you see the enemy clearly, it loses power. Now listen carefully. Most people believe discipline is about force, pushing harder, trying more, being strict, punishing themselves when they fail. That approach works for a short time, then it collapses. Not because the person is weak, but because the mind was never trained. Your mind is not designed to obey you by default. It is designed to seek comfort, safety, and stimulation. Left untrained, it will always pull you toward ease instead of effort. That's why motivation disappears. That's why habits break. That's why consistency feels heavy. You are fighting a system you don't understand. The real problem is not laziness, it's internal noise. Your thoughts are constantly moving, planning, judging, complaining, imagining, escaping, and every movement consumes energy. You wake up already tired because your mind never rested. You feel resistance before you even start because your attention is scattered. You quit early because the mental load feels unbearable. Silence is not peace. Silence is power. Ancient warriors understood this long before psychology named it. They didn't train the body first, they trained attention. Because a distracted fighter dies quickly, a reactive fighter makes mistakes, a noisy mind hesitates. There is an old account of a warrior asked why he spoke so little. His answer was simple: anything unnecessary weakens the edge.
Words weaken. Reactions weaken. Internal arguments weaken. Strength begins when excess disappears. Modern life teaches the opposite. Speak more. Express everything. React instantly. Share every emotion. That constant expression feels freeing, but it drains you. You lose sharpness. You lose control. You lose authority over yourself. This is why you can plan perfectly and still fail. Your strategy is fine. Your execution collapses because the mind never stops interfering. Discipline is not created by adding effort. It's created by removing interference. The first interference is constant thought. Not thinking itself, but uncontrolled thinking. Your mind talks even when you don't need it. It comments on everything. It creates stories. It negotiates limits. It looks for exits. Every time you hear, "Just today," you can start again. You deserve rest. One time won't matter. That is not logic. That is noise protecting comfort. Silence doesn't mean emptiness. It means selectivity. Choosing which thoughts deserve energy. Choosing which emotions deserve attention. Choosing when action happens without debate. This is why calm people appear disciplined, not because they try harder, but because fewer things pull them off course. There was a warrior known for never reacting immediately. Insults didn't move him. Provocation didn't rush him. Threats didn't shake him. Observers mistook this for passivity. They were wrong. He wasn't slow. He was deliberate. While others wasted energy reacting, he conserved it. While others burned focus on emotion, he stored it. When action became necessary, everything moved at once. That is silent discipline. The problem most people face is impatience with stillness. Silence feels uncomfortable because it exposes restlessness. When the noise stops, you feel tension. That tension is what you've been avoiding your whole life. So, you distract yourself again. Phones, music, talking, thinking, overthinking. But discipline begins exactly where discomfort starts.
The ability to sit without stimulation. The ability to act without discussion. The ability to feel resistance without obeying it. This is why meditation was never about relaxation. It was about control. Control of attention, control of impulse, control of reaction. A mind that cannot sit still cannot commit. A mind that jumps constantly cannot endure repetition. A mind that reacts emotionally cannot remain consistent. Silencing the mind is not suppression, it is organization. You are not trying to kill thought. You are training it to stand down when not needed. The first step is noticing how often you argue with yourself. Every internal argument costs energy. Every justification weakens resolve. Every delay strengthens resistance. Silence removes argument. When there is no debate, action becomes simple. Not easy, simple. This is the difference most people never understand. They look for ease. Discipline requires simplicity. Simple rules, simple actions, simple timing. The warrior didn't wake up deciding whether to train. There was no decision. There was no mood check. There was no emotional analysis. Time arrived, body moved. The quieter the mind, the faster execution becomes. That's why silence feels powerful in a room. People who don't rush to speak are observed. People who don't explain themselves are respected. People who don't react immediately are taken seriously. They are not mysterious by intention, they are controlled by nature. Control always attracts attention. The loudest person is usually compensating. The calmest person is usually prepared. This applies directly to your habits. If you need motivation every day, your mind is in charge. If you need reminders, your attention is weak. If you negotiate with yourself, discipline will fail. Silence removes the need for motivation. When action becomes automatic, emotion becomes irrelevant. This is why the goal is not inspiration. It's obedience, not to rules, but to structure. Structure calms the mind. Routine reduces noise. Predictability removes debate. The warrior lived by ritual, not for tradition, but for clarity. Every movement had a place. Every task had a time. Every action followed order. Chaos creates thought. Order creates silence. Your environment matters more than your willpower. Your schedule matters more than your feelings. Your standards matter more than your mood. Silence grows when choices disappear. When there is only one option, the mind stops talking. This is why discipline feels heavy at first. You are removing freedoms your mind used to exploit. Freedom to delay, freedom to escape, freedom to negotiate. The mind resists because it's losing control. That resistance is proof you're doing it correctly. The warrior felt it too. Restlessness didn't vanish overnight. Silence had to be endured. He didn't seek calm. He practiced containment. Sitting without moving, standing without shifting, acting without hesitation. Over time, the noise weakened, not because it was fought, but because it was ignored. What you feed grows. What you starve fades. Every time you refuse to argue with your thoughts, you reclaim energy. Every time you act without internal discussion, you strengthen authority. Every time you stay silent when a reaction is expected, you gain control. This is the foundation. Not confidence, not aggression, not motivation.
control. In the next part, the discipline becomes practical. How silence is trained, how structure is built, how endurance replaces excitement. But none of that works if you don't understand this truth. A loud mind will always sabotage a strong plan. Quiet first. Everything else follows. If part 1 showed you why discipline collapses, this part shows you where it is rebuilt. Not in motivation, not in emotion, not in willpower. Discipline is rebuilt in structure. Most people think structure limits freedom. In reality, it removes confusion. Confusion is what keeps the mind noisy. Noise is what kills consistency. Your mind speaks the loudest when it doesn't know what happens next. Uncertainty creates commentary. Commentary creates delay. Delay creates failure. This is why people feel resistance before starting, not because the task is hard, but because the path is undefined. The warrior never asked, "What should I do today?" That question alone creates friction. He already knew. Morning arrived, training followed, no choice, no mood check, no internal discussion. Structure silences the mind by removing options. Options feel empowering, but they're poison to discipline. Every option invites negotiation. Every negotiation drains resolve. When you give your mind multiple paths, it will always choose the easiest one. Not because it's evil, because it's efficient. Efficiency seeks comfort unless directed otherwise. That's why discipline must be decided in advance. Not daily, not emotionally, not reactively.
Once. The warrior decided his life once. After that, he simply followed it. This is where modern people fail. They decide every morning, every evening, every time resistance appears. Decision fatigue destroys discipline faster than laziness ever could. You don't need more self-control. You need fewer decisions. Silence grows when the future is predictable. The mind relaxes when it knows what comes next. This is why routines feel calming once established. This is why chaos creates anxiety. This is why inconsistency feels exhausting. A disciplined life is quiet, not because it's easy, but because it's ordered. The warrior arranged his days deliberately. Same wake time, same preparation, same sequence. Not because he loved routine, because routine removed distraction. Every repeated action strengthened identity. Every completed ritual reinforced certainty. Certainty quiets doubt. Doubt fuels noise. Most people chase discipline like an emotion. They wait until they feel ready. Read this carefully. Readiness is a consequence of action, not a prerequisite. The warrior did not wait to feel calm before training. Training created calm. He did not wait to feel focused before acting. Action created focus. The modern mind gets this backward. It waits for silence before moving. Silence comes after movement, not before. But not frantic movement, controlled movement. Slow, deliberate, non-negotiable. This is why speed is dangerous early on. Speed excites emotion. Emotion amplifies noise. Slow action starves the mind of drama. When you move slowly and consistently, the mind has nothing to react to. This is why boring discipline works. Not because boredom is magical, but because boredom removes stimulation. Stimulation feeds thought. Thought feeds resistance. The warrior practiced repetition without variation. Same drills, same order, same duration. Observers called it obsession. They were wrong. It was containment. Variety creates loopholes. Loopholes create excuses. Excuses keep the mind alive. Discipline suffocates excuses by leaving no gaps. Gaps are where the mind speaks.
A skipped day teaches your mind it can negotiate. A delayed action teaches it to bargain. A postponed task teaches it to wait you out. The warrior never allowed gaps. Not perfection, continuity. On weekdays, intensity dropped, not presence. Effort changed, not commitment. This is where most people misunderstand discipline. They think missing intensity equals failure. Failure is absence, not weakness. Showing up weak still reinforces identity. Not showing up breaks it. The mind learns patterns faster than outcomes. It doesn't care how hard you train. It cares whether you train. It doesn't care how inspired you feel. It cares whether you act. Consistency teaches the nervous system what kind of person you are. Once that identity is learned, discipline stops feeling forced. The warrior didn't feel disciplined. He felt aligned. Misalignment is what creates mental noise.
When your actions contradict your standards, the mind argues. When your behavior matches your identity, the mind rests. That rest is silence. This is why discipline feels peaceful at high levels. Not because life becomes easier, but because internal conflict disappears. Conflict is exhausting. Alignment is quiet. The modern struggle is internal civil war. One part wants comfort, another wants progress. Noise is the sound of that war. Structure ends the war by choosing a side permanently. Once chosen, the mind adapts. The warrior understood endurance better than intensity. Intensity is emotional. Endurance is structural. Emotion fluctuates. Structure remains. Endurance doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't care about mood. It doesn't negotiate. It simply continues. That continuation is what silences thought. When the mind realizes action will happen regardless of its commentary, it eventually stops talking. Not immediately, not comfortably, but inevitably. This is why the beginning feels loud. The mind is fighting for control. Every disciplined action is a signal. You are no longer in charge. At first, the mind protests. Then it resists. Then it weakens. Then it adapts. Silence is adaptation. The warrior didn't suppress emotion. He outlasted it. Feelings rose. Feelings passed. Action remained. This is the rule most people never learn. You don't need to defeat your mind. You need to outlast its objections. Objections are temporary. Structure is permanent. If you wait for resistance to vanish, you'll wait forever. If you move despite it, resistance loses meaning. Meaning fuels noise. Meaninglessness starves it. That's why discipline must feel ordinary. When actions feel special, the mind interferes. When actions feel normal, the mind disengages. The warrior sought normality, not greatness. Greatness emerged later. In the next part, this discipline becomes internal. Not structure outside, but command inside. How emotion is neutralized. How presence is sharpened. How silence becomes authority. But understand this first. You don't quiet the mind by fighting it. You quiet it by removing its influence. Structure does that. The next phase is internal. Up to now, silence was built from the outside. Structure, routine, repetition. Now it moves inward. Because even with perfect structure, the mind will still test you. It will look for cracks. It will wait for pressure. It will strike when emotion rises. This is where most people collapse. They can follow rules when life is calm. They lose control when something unexpected happens. Anger, fear, rejection, failure. Emotion reactivates noise. The warrior trained specifically for this moment. Not to remove emotion, but to prevent it from taking command. Emotion is not the enemy. Identification with emotion is. Most people don't feel anger. They become anger. They don't experience fear. They obey fear. They don't notice doubt. They follow doubt. When alignment exists, others feel it. This is where silence becomes discipline rather than comfort. The warrior learned to create distance inside his own mind, not detachment from life, detachment from reaction. He noticed emotion rise without moving toward it. He allowed sensation without commentary. He observed impulse without obeying it. This was not mystical, it was trained. Every time emotion appeared, he delayed response. Not forever, just long enough. That pause was everything. The pause breaks automatic behavior. Automatic behavior is where mistakes happen. Most people react in milliseconds. The warrior acted in seconds. Those seconds changed outcomes. Delay creates clarity. Clarity creates control. Silence lives in the delay. When someone insulted him, he didn't answer immediately. When fear appeared, he didn't escape it. When pressure increased, he didn't rush. He stayed. Staying is a skill. The mind hates staying. It wants resolution. It wants release. It wants to move. Staying forces the mind to slow down. Slowness weakens emotional momentum. Momentum is what makes emotion dangerous. Anger without momentum fades. Fear without momentum dissolves. Doubt without momentum loses authority. The warrior trained staying in simple ways, holding posture when the body wanted to shift, holding eye contact when discomfort rose, holding silence when explanation was expected. Every hold strengthened control. Control was never about domination, it was about choice. Choice requires space. Space requires silence. Most people have no space between feeling and action. Their lives are reactive chains. This is why regret exists. This is why damage accumulates. This is why discipline collapses under pressure. They never learned to pause. The warrior protected his pause fiercely. Nothing entered without permission. That permission was not intellectual, it was physical. Breath slowed first. Body relaxed second. Mind followed. The body leads the mind, not the other way around. This is why emotional discipline cannot start with thinking. Thinking speeds emotion. Breathing slows it. The warrior used breath as an anchor. When emotion surged, breath slowed. When pressure increased, breath deepened. When conflict arose, breath remained steady. Steady breath signals safety to the nervous system. Safety quiets the mind. This is not theory. This is biology. The calmer the body, the quieter the mind. The quieter the mind, the stronger the control. Most people try to think their way out of emotion. That only feeds it. The warrior moved his body into calm instead. Still posture, controlled breath, minimal movement. The mind followed. Over time, this became automatic. Emotion appeared, control activated. No drama, no suppression, no explosion, just command. This is where presence is born. Presence is not confidence. Presence is coherence. Everything aligned. Body, breath, attention.
They don't know why. They just respond. This is why silent people often dominate rooms. Not because they want attention, because attention moves towards stability. Humans are wired to notice control. The warrior never tried to intimidate. He simply remained unmoved. Unmoved people are rare. In a world of reaction, stillness stands out. Stillness creates authority. Authority doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to. The warrior spoke less as his discipline deepened. Not because he feared words, because words became unnecessary. Silence carried more weight. When he finally spoke, it was brief, specific, final. No explanation, no defense. Explanation invites negotiation. Negotiation invites loss of control. Silence closes doors. This is why disciplined people are difficult to manipulate. They don't react. They don't overshare.
They don't reveal internal movement. You cannot pull strings you cannot see. The warrior understood concealment, not deception, containment. He revealed only what served the moment. Everything else stayed inside. This protected energy, this protected focus, this protected presence. Modern culture encourages constant expression. Expression feels relieving, but it weakens containment. Containment builds pressure. Pressure builds force. The warrior used pressure deliberately. He allowed tension to exist. He did not rush to release it. This is uncomfortable. Most people escape tension immediately. They talk, they distract, they react. The warrior stayed. That staying trained endurance. Endurance is silence over time, not quiet for a moment, quiet across pressure. Pressure reveals who you are. Under pressure, noise returns unless discipline is internalized. This is why silence must live inside you, not around you. When structure breaks, silence must remain. That is real control. In the next phase, silence becomes something others feel, not through behavior, not through posture, but through presence alone. That is where influence begins. Eventually, silence stops being something you practice. It becomes something you carry. This is the stage most people never reach because it no longer feels like effort. There are no rituals to rely on, no rules to repeat, no discipline to announce. The warrior no longer reminds himself to be calm. Calm is simply the default state. The mind still produces thoughts, but they no longer demand attention. They pass like weather, observed, not followed, heard, not obeyed. This is mastery. Not control through force, but control through irrelevance. The noise loses importance. What once felt urgent now feels distant. What once demanded reaction now feels optional. This is not numbness, it is clarity. Emotion still exists, but it no longer hijacks direction. At this stage, the warrior understands something critical. The mind was never meant to be silenced permanently. It was meant to be governed. Trying to destroy thought creates conflict. Governing thought creates peace. Peace is not passive. Peace is organized. The warrior's days are simple, not easy, but simple. He does not multiply decisions. He does not debate himself endlessly. He knows what matters and ignores what doesn't. This is why his energy feels heavy. Most people leak energy through constant mental movement, worrying, imagining, rehearsing conversations, fighting battles that don't exist. The warrior does none of this. He saves energy by refusing unnecessary engagement. Silence becomes efficiency. Efficiency becomes power. When he moves, it is intentional. When he speaks, it is precise. When he rests, it is complete. Nothing is half done internally. This completeness is rare. People around him feel exposed without knowing why. Their own noise becomes louder in his presence. Their impulses feel obvious. Their insecurity rises. Not because he judges them, but because silence reflects. Silence acts like a mirror. Most people avoid mirrors. The warrior does not. He does not need approval. He does not need validation. Those needs dissolve when the mind stops begging for stimulation. Begging is noise. Needing is noise. Wanting to be seen is noise. The disciplined mind does not reach outward unnecessarily. It waits. Waiting is strength. In conflict, this becomes decisive. While others rush to speak, the warrior observes. While others explain themselves, he listens. While others escalate, he de-escalates internally. The outcome is predictable. The calm one controls the direction, not through manipulation, but through gravity. Gravity doesn't chase, it pulls. This is the final form of mental discipline. You are no longer trying to silence the mind. You have outgrown the need to argue with it. The mind becomes a tool, useful when needed, silent when not. Most people are trapped inside their minds. The warrior steps outside it. From there, life slows down. Moments feel longer. Decisions feel clearer. Fear loses sharpness. Desire loses urgency. This is not detachment from life. It is immersion without drowning. The warrior still cares. He simply doesn't panic. He still feels. He simply doesn't collapse. He still acts. He simply doesn't rush. This is why silence is misunderstood. People think silence is absence. It is not. Silence is presence without distortion. When distortion is removed, truth becomes obvious. You know when to act. You know when to wait. You know when to speak. You know when to remain quiet. No debate. No inner chaos. No mental argument. Just alignment. This alignment creates a quiet confidence that cannot be faked. It does not announce itself. It does not seek attention. It simply exists. And existence like this changes outcomes. People listen differently. Opportunities align differently. Conflict resolves differently. Not because the world changed, because you did. The discipline that silences the mind is not about peace alone. It is about command. Command over attention. Command over reaction. Command over self. And once you command yourself, nothing outside you truly controls you anymore. That is the end of the path. Not silence as emptiness, silence as authority.